Hello, I hope you're well. I have not been in my group or on Instagram for it's probably a week now. And I really wanted to come on here and be honest, real, and raw. Something that I've been trying to cultivate more through my work is taking the mother mask off. Because I truly believe, in my personal experience, that the more that we pretend and perform, and mask the fact that we're not okay, that is what I believe contributes to burnout. It's also what contributes to this loss of identity that so many of us mums face. Because we're showing up to the world in one way, but on the inside we feel really different. And that can cause disconnection and conflict, and that causes burnout. And it's a horrible place to be. And I don't want this video to be me telling you what to do or telling you something. This is about me being very, very honest, because if I'm going to cultivate this, I need to model the same message. One thing I haven't been doing is being honest, is showing up in my raw and vulnerable self, because it's fucking hard. So I've actually written some stuff down. I don't normally, if you've seen me before in my videos and my training, I'm unscripted. I tend not to read stuff. I might have things on post-its, I might have a few notes, but it's really important for me to get this message across, and it will become clear why. So you may be aware, or maybe not, that I was going to run a Christmas series, Christmas Fuck It, Do It Your Way. And what I was going to include in that was probably some of my best work in terms of shifting your perception of yourself and your energy quickly. I fucking love this stuff. It makes my heart sing, and I love talking about it, and I love sharing it. But what ended up happening is I pulled the whole lot down. So I cancelled it. And this has been really hard for me to talk about, because the truth is, I have been, over 2021, I've invested so much into my business to the point where I can't afford to buy Bonnie a jumper from H&M. I've invested so much money, so much time, so much energy, and so much belief, because I truly believe that mums have the power to change their own lives and that of the next generation. I believe that we're amazing. We hold so much potential. We're game changers. And in doing so, by fulfilling our own potential, our own energy needs, looking after ourselves, stepping into our power, we show our children their potential. And that is a legacy to live now. I fully believe that. But what was happening is I felt that I was investing so much, putting so much out, but I wasn't getting the return on investment. I've had some amazing clients, and I've witnessed some incredible life-changing transformations. But what was happening is I wasn't getting the response, the engagement on the information I was putting out. And then what starts to happen for me, because I lack the engagement, is I didn't have the evidence, if you like, that what I was doing was good, whether I was being useful, whether I was needed. I felt like I was talking into echo chambers. And for me, my top value, it's something that I teach, it's something I'm very aware of, is connection. And I was lacking this connection that really drives my confidence and my passion. It's kind of at the heart of it all. And I have written this down. I'm not reading from my notes, I'm kind of just freestyling it. But what happened is I started to lose that confidence in what I was doing, because I didn't have the connection with my audience. I didn't have the evidence that what I was talking about was even helpful. And I'll be fucking honest here, I lost my drive. So I decided to pull down the series, which can I just tell you? If you are mums in business and you're entrepreneurs and you know what this is like, creating a frickin' Canva design for like one masterclass, I have templates, can take a while. If you are a perfectionist, which is another thing that I'm going to talk about in a minute. The sheer energy and time that goes into the marketing and then preparing, it is a lot. It's a lot. So what I chose to do was gift that time to myself, to Christmas, to my family, and the more living the message, the behind the scenes, not showing up trying to convince people that they need my help or shout about what I do or try and make an impact, which, believe me, is what is in my heart. I'm innately programmed to want to help and change the lives of mums. Like, I love what I do. But I'd lost the balance between what I was receiving and what I was giving. I know I'm talking quite slowly because I really want to get this across. Like, I'll be very honest. I thrive off significance, appreciation, acknowledgement. How many of you can relate to that in motherhood, where you feel like everything you do goes unnoticed and not really appreciated? And that really kills my drive. And another thing with the connection is, it's almost, for me, you know, when you used to go to the pub, and I used to go to the pub, I don't drink anymore, and you'd put the world to rights. That's what I'm after. That's the desire. That's the feeling. A feeling like you can really be yourself in the presence of people that absolutely get it. You're heard, you're validated, you're seen. And do you know what? You can have a bit of a laugh and a beer if that's your thing. That's connection. It's two-way. So let me just come back to this, because I'm so conscious of time. I don't want to, there we go. See, take up too much space. So what was also really interesting and something that I had to acknowledge is that, as well as trying to, because it's a business, what my passion is, my business, as well as trying to make a living and earn money from doing the thing that I absolutely adore, I also had a kid who is have a child who is going through her own kind of growth adventure and transition time, and dealing with her big feelings and emotions, not wanting to go to school, all these things that we know between the living room, the dining room, and getting them outside the house can require a world of emotion and resources. And that's all in the space of, an hour, that you can give so much just to help your child feel seen and validated, support them out the house so that they can get to school. The morning almost was taking up so much of my resources, and of course I am an empath, so I feel Bonnie's emotions and feelings like they're my own. I internalize them, I feel them, it's really hard to be happy when your kid isn't. So I had disconnected from myself. I had disconnected kind of from my work a bit, and I was trying to be there for Bonnie. I was also trying to deal with a few hormonal issues that I suffer with. That leaves me in quite a bad state at certain times of the month, just before my period. I'm also dealing with how my brain kind of functions. It feels it's quite different to others, and that's another thing I'm exploring. So I will talk about that another time. And organising Christmas, not having a budget to put towards it, investing in my relationship, my health, my self-care, my exercise. I don't need to tell you this. I'm sure you know. It's an awful lot. So what I did is I took a step back, because I started to go back to that place of feeling quite lost and stuck and in this kind of darkness. It felt like a dark cloud, and the winter months has a big impact on me. That things just felt heavy. I was waking up like I had a hangover, and I don't drink. And that's what I was going around, like there was just literally a dark cloud. So what that did, by pulling that down and taking a little bit of time and stepping off the merry-go-round. That's what I felt I needed to do. Stop performing, stop showing up like you got it all together when you haven't, which was never my intention, but naturally I think that's how it came across with all my shiny graphics and whatever. I don't know. You tell me. I took a step back. And what I did is I reflected. I looked at it from a different perspective. And I just want to share, it's 10 minutes. I just wanted to share a couple of things that I have learned or I've become aware of, or lessons that I am going to commit to learning, because I don't think this happens overnight. I can't read my own writing. The truth is I was desperate to encourage and hold space for mums to take the psychological mask off and speak their truth, but I wasn't speaking mine, hence what I'm doing now. I was falling into patterns of doing what I think I should, and what the external world, what the social media world, what our society was doing, and it was taking me away from my true self, my heart, my values, and doing what I desire, what I want. And this is where we start to perform, and I lost connection with myself. I didn't really know what I wanted, and that was really hard. I started to question my mission. The next thing is connection. I want it so bad. I desire it so much. It's my top value. And everything we do comes from our values. But I wasn't living by that value. I wasn't doing the things that made me feel good and connected to myself, because I was shining the light outwards and trying to please others and not getting the gratification or validation back. And I was also expecting others to give it to me, but I wasn't giving it to myself. And here is where it makes me think about energy match, like for like. We get back what we put out. And what I was doing is I was ignoring myself, I was beating myself up, I was fighting with myself, and I was expecting others to love me. The next thing was mission. I'd fallen off mission, that I'd lost contact with what it is that I'm here to do, the mission that is bigger than me, to be the mother and model to Bonnie, but also by being myself and stepping into my potential and energy, but also to show mothers a new way to step it out of the darkness of burnout and despair into the adventure, the greatest adventure of their life, back home to themselves. And in doing so, and I think this is a really important thing that really does drive me, changing the narrative for the next generation just by being you. So important. And I lost contact with that. I felt burdened. I felt like my rich, complex inner world was too complicated. I was trying to figure stuff out all the time and spin all the plates, juggle the balls. The balls had plates. It was just too much. And earn a living by showing up and helping others when I was also going through all this stuff. Socially, I had withdrawn. And I think what was really interesting when I did my Master NLP Practitioner course earlier this year, my social part of my kind of wheel of life, so the social area in my life, was low. And I struggled to show up on social media. And the two things that had caused that is I'd lost connection with friends and I wasn't being myself. It's all coming together. I honestly, just talking to you now, thanks for listening, it's all making a lot of sense. And that involved me showing the raw parts, showing the vulnerable parts, showing the messy parts, not just the polished parts. And this is so important. This is what I'm trying to do now. And I think the last thing, there's two more things. Honouring how complex life can be and acknowledging that there's not one fix, one time only quick fix. And what I know to be true, because it's the work that I do, but you forget it. It's like that Finding Dory moment. You do the stuff that makes you feel good and then you forget. Life happens and your attention is taken elsewhere. You forget. You need to be reminded that to actually know who you are and feel confident in yourself and your self-worth and reclaim your energy is a commitment to yourself that you honour each day, that you work on step by step. They're the small intentional actions the shifts in mindset, the taking of a new perspective that leads to that. And that's how you master it, like a craft, not a magic wand, magic pill. I know, I sound like I'm lecturing you, but I'm talking to myself. But don't you think sometimes what's going on in here can feel so complicated that you just can't see the wood for the trees, and you feel like there needs to be a really big solution? The last thing is the perfectionism, that I put pressure on myself to show up here feel really perfect and polished. How many of you do that? You don't do it until you're going to get it right. Fuck that shit. I did some notes today because I really wanted to get how I was feeling across. If you have to read from notes, fucking do it. It doesn't matter what it looks like. I know when I'm following people online or I choose to work with something, I'm attracted to those that are themselves, that are authentic, that can actually talk about the hard stuff. And I suppose the big story I was telling myself is, if I can't fix my own shit, I'm a failure at what I do. People aren't going to want to work with me or like me if I am fucked up or broken or whatever. And that's not the case. It's not the truth. We're always working through complex things as mothers. It is an absolute journey. It's building that relationship with yourself. And things are complicated. But I know what it's allowed me to do is take that step back and review all of these things. What is my mission? How do I want to show up? I certainly want to take the mask off and be more honest and follow my own blueprint. And understand that it takes time, that it's a commitment, that I'm living this too. I had a conversation with someone earlier, which I will just say before I go, is that it's not about being perfect and achieving your shiny goal of being energized and then you can just put your feet up and your work here is done. It's about knowing what tools and resources you need and that you have within to navigate hard situations and not get completely derailed. And I feel like I've intentionally stepped back to be able to come back more honest, more raw, more vulnerable. So that is that. And after this video, I'm going to show up. I don't know in what fucking form. And that scares me because, you know, I say one thing and then I find it hard because I lose that drive. But I'm going to show up for you because I have had people message me disappointed that I'm not running that masterclass series. I've had people message me telling me that my words, my posts have helped them, have changed their life, have shifted their perspective. I have loads of testimonies and feedbacks. I've seen it for myself. And that's so, so important to me. So if you have watched this and you can resonate, I appreciate it's nearly 20 minutes long. Please let me know because that means an awful lot to have that connection, that engagement. It fuels my fire. Connection gives me the oxygen and fuel to really ignite my passion. And of course, fuels me to do more of this, to support you. So I'm going to go now and I'm going to be back again, and I put a little hashtag take off the mother mask because that's what I'm going to be doing in the lead up to Christmas and then beyond that. And my videos will not be 20 minutes long. I just needed to get this shit out, okay? Have a good rest of your day and let me know if this resonates. I'm really grateful if you watched it.